All right, man. Welcome back to the Geekset Podcast, the only podcast that blend hip-hop culture and geek culture together. I'm your boy Deuces in the building, and this is One-on-One with Deuces, the place where I speak with creators, curators, and people that you should know. And right now, man, I am speaking with what I call a podcast OG, man. I'm speaking with SaVon Slater, a.k.a. SaVon The Don. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, bro. Good to see you.
Man, I'm glad that you're here, man. Like, so I came to the realization that you a podcast OG because, like, just listening to your story and just kind of like where you came from, like knowing that you had a podcast that you tried, then you jumped up, you know what I'm saying, with Joe Budden, and now you're doing everything on the network and your own thing. And I'm like, yo, SaVon got some motherfucking stakes in here, bro.
Yeah, I've been potted. My life is a podcast, bro.
Yeah.
5 days a week, I'm doing something for a podcast. I started before I met Joe, and then obviously once I got in that situation, it made sense to just relaunch my own thing. Like, I always had a passion for it, but it's tough to podcast when only 50 people are listening to your show in a month. Right. Like, I can do 50 in a week, but when they was giving me 50 in a month, I had to find a new route.
Definitely. It's funny because I feel that same. Like, it's just like, you know, right now I'm interviewing some super dope people, getting that opportunity to kind of have people geek out, and I'm just like, man, but I see that potential, and I know that one of your biggest advice that you give podcasters is that you always say, find a niche, find something that's going to set you apart. And I was like, that's where I stake my claim in. It's like, what we doing for this, you know what I'm saying, doing that black geekness, but not that stereotypical black geek, not the one, you know, like there's some cool motherfuckers in this world that rock with it. I think that is that niche. And it's funny because like the hardest niggas be like, hey, yo, I fuck with y'all podcast, yo, because, you know, they have something that they rock with. So like, oh yeah, y'all be talking about Goku and them, or y'all be talking about Batman and them. So it's like, it's funny to just kind of blend those worlds and everything.
But that's the thing. In 2021, I don't think there's an actual prototype for a geek. Like, it's just interest at this point. It's either you like Marvel, you like DC, you like anime, or you don't. Yeah. Like, and it's not even just boxed into a certain look anymore. Women love anime. Like, I'm not too well versed in anime, but, you know, I see my algorithms throw me something now and again. And it's like, it's no really, you can't put anybody in the box when it comes to, like, you know, the stuff you guys are talking about. But the way that y'all market it is super digestible. It's like, hey, we're going to bring hip hop culture along with geek culture. And when you hear geek, you think of a few things. You think of video games, you think of cartoons and Marvel comics and all that stuff. But for me, I just hear like, yo, that's my childhood shit. Yeah. Like, I enjoy Marvel comics. Yeah. I enjoy Dragon Ball Z. Like, it doesn't make you a geek. So I love what you're doing, bro.
Yeah, and then I think what was dope is like our name, because it pays homage to Dipset. Like, you know what I'm saying? When people see the logo, like, they be like, and I'm like, no, it's Geekset. But then, like, you see, like, instead of the money in the bird's hands, we got the PlayStation, Xbox controller. Like, it's a whole thing. But it was like, when people grasp that concept, and even the way we do our covers, like, all of our covers are remakes of Dipset, either mixtapes, album covers, whatever, but with some anime or geek flair to it and everything. And it kind of like, it sets us apart on a lot of things, man. So it's like, yeah, man, I'm glad that people such as yourself is taking notice to it and is able to get it, even just by reading that one pager that we sent out.
Yeah, it's dope what y'all doing, and it's definitely something I want to just kick it, talk about. It's a breath of fresh air when I don't have to talk about somebody else's their life, their drama, the gossip. Like, I was talking to one of my homegirls, and I did like a social media cleanse maybe a year ago, and I was so relieved when I didn't have to follow the Shade Room or Baller Alert.
Right.
Then when I got to do my job and produce content, it's like, what am I talking about? What do I reference? So, like, I'm a slave to it at this point. So when you hit me up, I'm like, yo, thank God I don't got to talk about that shit no more, dog. For real.
Well, one thing I did want to ask you, though, in regards to with your podcast and everything, I'm like, bro, you being the resident geek, how you be letting Joe and Ma and them get them horrible takes off like that, bro?
To each his own, man. We all got our own thing to do. Like,
I love the podcast, but every time they talk about anything like Marvel, DC, when they was talking Game of Thrones, I'm like, yo, they are not getting it.
Hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Like, and then, you know, they're at the point where, well, Joe, let me say, Joe just dismisses it. If he doesn't get it, if he's not interested, fuck out of that bullshit. So it's like, you know, when people don't really want the information on the entertainment, You can't give it to him. Like we was on tour during the season finale, the season 8 for Game of Thrones.
Right.
I had caught up to Game of Thrones maybe a year before, so I waited a whole year for that season 8. So if you remember, everybody was locked in. Sunday nights, you dropping whatever you doing. You don't want to see no spoilers. Like if you go on my mute list on my phone, I probably still have all of the Game of Thrones keywords like
Right.
Cersei and Jon Snow. Like there was a time where Snow was just muted. So if it was gonna snow where I'm living, I wasn't gonna see it. Like I was that committed. But we was on tour, and right after the show, we was in Detroit. Me and Parks rushed back to the hotel. Like we wasn't trying to talk to anybody.
Right. No
We
meet
just left the bus. We took a Uber before the bus left the venue to make sure we got that season finale, and we watched it together in like the hotel room, and it was just a big deal. So yeah, that's on them. It's their loss, bro. It's
Wait,
their loss.
and what's funny is so like I got this thing that I'm like, all right, man, I want to at least talk to like because I feel like Maul would be the most accepting of it, and I was like, I want to talk to Maul because I feel like Maul
Outside of
huh?
outside of Parks, right?
Oh yeah, outside of part.
Okay.
I'm talking about the ones that dismiss it between Maul, Joe, and Rory. I feel like Maul may be the most, and because I feel like Maul still got the old school geek like vision, and I want him to see like there's some real cool motherfuckers in there that rock out with this stuff, and I feel like Maul like he'll be like, oh shit, I didn't even know about that shit. Like is this envision that I have, and I think he really will fuck with the whole Dipset aspect and everything. So, but
Sure.
but yeah, man, like it's dope. Like and that's when I realized that you had that geekness to you. Because like I said, during those segments, you and Parks, you guys were trying to explain it to the best of y'all ability.
Please try. Like there's only so much we can do. It's not my show. I just chime in. I got very little control. Like that's why I gotta go do my own thing, my own operation too, to get my shit off. But it was a failed effort on the Joe Budden podcast.
Right. So now your background came from journalism, broadcasting, and everything like that.
Mhm.
Now, so what all do you actually do with the network? Because I know on the front end, everybody thinks that you're just doing the captions and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
from when you start diving in, it seems like you have a bigger play within the network.
I do a lot.
Yeah.
Outside of the captions and stuff like that. Excuse me, I do the marketing for it. So all the social media platforms from the Joe Budden Network page, the Joe Budden Pod page, the See the Thing, anything on that, I've created it in my apartment, in my underwear somewhere, handed off the codes. Obviously, I upload all the shows on the network. Um, I am also, it's funny because all the guys, they got to be kind of not catered to different, but it's different responsibilities to each of them. So obviously, Joe is the person who brought me in. So I speak to him on a little bit more day-to-day basis, but all of them kind of have their own thing. Like Maul only eats a certain type of food. Like the other week, I think I got a shake or a smoothie, and he doesn't do dairy. And I think the lady put milk in it. And it's just small things like that you got to remember about. 4 different guys, including myself, including whoever's on set for the day. So I help out in that regard. When we have guests, I coordinate with the guests, not coordinate, but I correspond with the guest management and everything, make sure the artist gets there and they find a place, small things like that. I do a little bit of everything, bro. My hands is in all facets of the Joe Budden Network right now.
And that's super dope because here's the one thing, and it's something that I always respect when people go out that route. So like listening to your story of how you reached out to Joe and said, look, I feel like this is what y'all missing. So like, what I'm saying, I can add this to that podcast, and that's kind of how was your introduction to it, right? Some people they got that chip on their shoulder or pride gets in their way where they're like, I'm not gonna reach out. I'm not gonna do that stuff. Like the stuff that you just said. There's some niggas that's gonna be like, oh man, I ain't about to be, like you gonna get this. Like some people, they got that machismo and everything like that. So I got mad respect for people that hustle like that because I'm like, no, that's laying that ground, that foundation. You building that network, you building, that relationship with people. People are seeing that grind, and that's how those opportunities get presented to you. So I got mad respect for that.
Thank you. I think it's been a few times when I got frustrated with my role and my position because at the end of the day, like I'm still a man. I'm 27 years old. I've had a life before this. I've been through shit. Like, I'm still a man, although the character of who I am on that show doesn't really display that to, the fullest. But it's cool. I'll live with that. But one of the things that kind of helped me get through is, excuse me, my mom's calling, is Somebody told me one time, Diddy was also an intern. At some point, Diddy was getting cheesecake before he was sending people to get cheesecake.
Yeah.
At another point, Diddy was running around the city to get whoever he needed to get it. And then when you put it in that perspective, it's like almost not just pay your dues, but I don't ever want to ask anybody anything if I've never done it. So I can't build an establish. I can't build anything if I'm getting somebody and I'm like, hey, I need you to create graphics. I need you to promote this. I need you to size this Instagram clip so it can go like that. Everything that I ask people to do or everything that I'm asked of, I've done. So I think it's just a matter of perspective. Like your ego got to go out the door if you want to make something. I don't come from shit, bro. I don't got industry ties. I'm not entertained. Like that's not where I'm from. But I understand the importance of adding value and not having that chip on your shoulder. Like my chip is different. My chip, I don't feel entitled. I don't feel entitled.
Yeah, no, that's dope. That's a really dope mindset to keep, because like I said, it helps float you in so many aspects, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, like I said, like, you know, when we go into, you know, your other podcasts and, you know, go into the Need to Know podcast and what you do there and everything, it's like what I like about it is, because I think you said it on some other interview, we were saying that, like, even though we talk about the same things at the Joe Budden podcast, we have our own niche, we have our own thing that we do, and even down to how it's shot and just kind of how it looks, it has a different vibe to it. But that comes from you working that behind the scene, seeing how it goes, learning, okay, this is their image, let me be able to create this image, but let me take what I know from there and everything, and you're building your enterprise. You're building what your platform is and everything, and I think that's dope.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah. What's really dope too is like how the fans connect with you. Like we was there for the birth of SaVon The Don. Like
yeah,
that became a thing, and that wasn't a thing. Like what's funny was at the beginning of it, like even on that episode, Ma was like, "Hey man, don't let nobody call you SaVon The Don." And it was like a joke, but then it kind of floated, and now it's like it's funny because like when I put up I put up your real name on the promo flyer, and everybody's like, "Hey, that's SaVon The Don." I'm like, "What other SaVon y'all know?"
Well, I appreciate you putting my real name.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the real name first, you know, so at least show some respect to who you is.
SaVon The Don is not self-proclaimed. It's not like I didn't come up with that. I don't go by that, but I get the joke, so appreciate you.
You don't embrace it, man.
I embrace it, but I'm not promoting it. I embrace it. Like I don't get mad. Somebody call me SaVon. Like I get it because you want people to say something. You want people to know you. Like I had the worst, nastiest nickname ever, STD.
You did.
Like, it's been mad times when I tried to like, court women, and then people are like, "Hey, yo, STD, what up?" And I'm like, "Yo, fam." Like, so the fact that people know your name there's value in that. You know, just knowing me as the Don or the Duh, or whatever you know me as, like, there's power in that, and you can slowly just turn the tide. You know what I'm saying? You go through it, you take the jokes, you don't really get in your feelings too much about it. And then, you know, people like yourself who actually give me a chance to show like, oh, wait, so this is who he is. Like, he's not just the intern that gets chips and, you know, pours drinks or whatever. Like, you leverage that a little bit.
Is that your, wait, okay. One thing that I wanted to ask y'all, on Amazon, there's this company that's selling merch. Joe Budden like phrases merch. Is that y'all or is somebody frauding?
On Amazon?
On Amazon, bro.
I will hit Ian right now. How about that?
Yeah.
No, it's not us. It's not us.
I'll send you the link, man. On like for real. When I saw it, because I'm like, nah, this ain't them. I'm like, they probably will put it on their website. They got like, oh yeah, they got like y'all sayings. They actually got a SaVon The Duh shirt on there. Like, and I'm like, that's wild, bro.
That's crazy. Nah, I don't know anything about that. That is probably something I should let management know.
Definitely. Yeah. All right, well, let's get into it, because when I did hit you, one of the things that you said was that, like, you know what I'm saying, you all into this Marvel universe and everything. And I see you talk about it a lot. Like, I think, speaking of muting things, you had, I think it was either during Endgame or Infinity War, but you had muted everything Marvel related. You had right.
Gotta go.
So so let's talk about your origins and getting into comic books and stuff like that. What got you into comic books? Like, what was the first comic book related thing that got you into that world?
Well, I think what it is, I've never been asked this, so I never really had to think about it. But when you ask me, growing up, I got a lot of siblings. I'm the oldest of 6 or 7. It's mad of us. But I'm the oldest, and me and my brothers, we're all within a 5-year age range. So I'm born in 94. My other brother's born in 94, and the youngest is born in like 99. So growing up, we all tried to find certain ways to be our own individuals. And the best way we could identify that was in like superheroes or fictional characters. The Ninja Turtles was something that we killed. We loved it. There's four brothers, there's four Ninja Turtles. We all kind of get to play into it a little bit. Spider-Man, Wolverine. And then it's like, you know, you got to get creative. When you don't really grow up with too much, the action figures keep you in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, now I got Spider-Man fighting fucking Wolverine. And then, you know, you try to keep that same, that universe.
Right.
So the DC doesn't mix with the Marvel. Like, you know that at an early age, if you really invested, like, you're never going to see, unless they do like a special crossover, but you're never going to see Batman fighting Iron Man unless it's special, you know, like on a regular. So it was just things like that. Just want to be your own and identifying within the characters and just feeling like something's bigger than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Black people, we weren't taught to embrace it. We weren't taught to really look at a superhero and say, hey, that can be me in a sense, just because of the color and shit. So I always bypassed that. I enjoy the video games once they started making video games. Then the movie, me and my dad saw Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire in the movie theaters. Coloring books, like I was just always around the comic world.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. And it usually comes from that, like you said. Like, I just interviewed fuck, who did I just interview? I'm blanking like a motherfucker.
Booked and busy. It's all good, brother.
Trying to stay on it and everything like that. But like I just interviewed oh no, Roy Wood Jr. the comedian. I just interviewed him and we was talking about like in general, when you think about like the themes of those comic books. As a kid, we didn't really make that correlation between like how X-Men was Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, or how the mutants was kind of like, you know, against oppression and just like all those things. But it was like, you know, like we thought Wolverine was cool just because he was a grunt. But Wolverine really had some fucked up issues and PTSD like a motherfucker. But it was like when we get into it, all we saw was that hero. So it's like the way things are now with representation, it's so dope to see that, because we know that we didn't have that focus. We just wanted to be superheroes. But now we're putting so much focus on Black heroes, and you know, kids can see themselves in these heroes. And I think that's what's really dope, just kind of about how that ever evolving platform of the geek world is and everything. And like you said, it's not a traditional geek anymore. It's just being a fan. It's just fandom now.
Yeah, that's all it is. And it's cool, especially because it's an experience. It's like it allows you to have an escape just for a slight moment when you go watch Endgame for however many hours it is. And like the anticipation that's built, you get invested in characters. Yeah, I don't know. I think more people should embrace it.
Yeah, definitely. So when it comes down to the comic book characters, who's your favorite?
I'm always torn between two, bro. I'll be honest. Spider-Man growing up was my guy. I would have to give Spider-Man a slight edge, because Superman, as you got older, you realize like he a little bland, he a little stale. Like he can't do any wrong except for kryptonite, and it's like, fam, never just go near it and you'll be fine. So I think Spider-Man got a little bit more color to his story and to the character and flavor. So I would have to go with Spider-Man. Yeah, I know, you know, like I got a sleeper who I'm invested in, but Hollywood doesn't seem to care about him. Growing up, I really like Cyclops, bro.
Bro, okay, all right, yeah.
Like I really like. I don't know why he gets shitted on the way that he does. Like maybe I missed something, but
the reason why is because he's the like not necessarily a bad guy against Wolverine, but he's against Wolverine because remember in the show Wolverine, he had a thing for Jean Grey, but that was his girl, and Wolverine was his favorite. So immediately everybody like shitted on him, but like he literally didn't do anything. It's like he didn't do anything.
But even in the movies, like they don't give him. He dies. He doesn't lose his power. Like he has no control over his eyes. It's the saddest thing. But yeah, I like Cyclops for whatever reason.
Now, do you think that the New York aspect of Spider-Man had anything to do with it? Because I know, like,
for sure,
Spider-Man, like I said, like it's New York all through his comics and everything.
Yeah, he's from Queens. I grew up in Queens, so that correlation right there. Seeing him in New York City, I just recently moved to the city. Like, yeah, because you believe, like, yo, I'm going through Times Square, I might see Spider-Man. Like until your parents tell you, like, fam, he's not real. But I really felt that at some point, like, so. yeah, I think the New York aspect definitely helps. But then he wasn't too old. Like he didn't feel like a grown ass adult man. Like Wolverine, scruffy up, super big muscles. Like the way they made the Spider-Man character, he was always kind of slim built, and he was actually a geek in his own right. Peter Parker was a nerd. Like people clown him for just being around science and wanting to discover shit and being in the lab. So I think there's a little bit more relatability because he was the most probably humanized character to me. Like Tony Stark's came from money. Captain America was frozen in for time. Like it's so many different elements where it's like that may be the one. Like all I gotta do is get bit by a spider. That's
Right.
all I gotta do is get bit by a spider, and I'm lit. I'm lit. So I think for me that's probably why it's a little bit more relatable.
Did I forget the clacker out there?
You did forget the clap.
I'm just gonna clap.
You had brought it too.
I know, I'm just gonna clap.
I'm mad because I was definitely expecting you to get it.
I mean, I could
out of me.
quickly go grab it.
Just clap. 1, 2, 3.
All right, man. Welcome back to the Geekset Podcast, the only podcast that blend hip-hop culture and geek culture together. I'm your boy Deuces in the building. With me, I got my man Liv.
What up? It's Liberace. It's the Puerto Rican Santa. The spiccato playing, beat making, motherfucking legendary ass Puerto Rican. Sofrito Papi, and we back.
As always, I got my man Bacardi in the building.
Randolph today.
Konnichiwa, bitches. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god. I hate all of this.
Kakashi Ron.
I hate all of it.
What's good, everybody? How we doing today?
And we got Didge in the building.
What is happening, people? What's happening, people? What is happening, people? What is happening, people?
He's out the booth.
But it's like I said, we are expanding. We are doing more. So they say make sure you go to youtube.com/Geekset. Follow us on all social media at Geekset Podcast on every social media. And rating reviews in, man. We are rating reviewers on Facebook, rating reviewers on Apple iTunes, rating reviewers on Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever platform you're looking at. Give us some ratings, let us know. And then again, this is the only podcast that blend hip hop culture and geek culture together. We are out.
Peace.
So when it came down to like the whole MCU and the Marvel movies and everything, I guess was you in immediately from Iron Man, or like I said?
Because growing up, like, and I don't, a lot of people don't talk about it, but Iron Man wasn't cool when we was growing up.
He was not.
Like Iron Man wasn't a top 5 person that I'm going to in the comics, in the video game, anywhere. Like Robert Downey Jr. changed his whole perspective when he became Iron Man. Like, so me being so invested in comics, I wasn't rushing to go see Iron Man in 2007. Like, fam, y'all just gave me Spider-Man. Now y'all give me Spider-Man. Like, it's nah. So I still to this day, and I'm super embarrassed to say this, but I still haven't seen any of the solo Iron Man films.
Oh man, I'm surprised because
Not one, bro.
The first one, like legit. So we talked about it on our podcast a lot before, and I was like, you know what? I said I like Marvel's introduction with Iron Man first. And the only reason I said that, I said, if you think about all the comic book movies that we got, it was always the major people. You know, we got the Catwoman, we got Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, we even got Green Lantern. So it was, like, it was the main people, right? And I said, Marvel, where they changed it, they said they introduced a character that was, oh yeah, we know Iron Man, but we know what I'm saying, and it was like, so it wasn't showing the major storyline, but it was like they slow rolled us into this whole universe. And like, so that first Iron Man actually is a good like setup for the whole universe. I would definitely say if you ever get a chance to, man, definitely check it out. You know what? I don't know if you ever looked at it. There's a list where you can watch the movies in order of actually timeline. So not actual release, but actual timeline. Watch it that way, and then like I said, it'll definitely hit. You're like, oh yeah, this was actually really dope as fuck.
I thought about doing that, but it takes a lot of time.
Oh,
I did see that list, and I do want to go back and watch those Iron Mans. I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice by not. But yeah, like I said, when it first came out, I was probably in middle school, just leaving elementary school, and I remember going to the movie theaters looking like, fam, who's gonna watch this? Like, he wasn't cool, bro.
Yeah.
Like, am I wrong? Am I off?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't, because He was just Iron Man. Like because his story, we didn't connect heavy to that story. You know, this drunken playboy who like it's just like because we had Batman. See, Iron Man and Batman story is similar, but the difference is Batman had death. And we was like, nah, yeah, he Batman from the hood, he from the slums. So like we fought with
the Joker.
Yeah, he had the Joker.
Iron Man ain't got no L. Like you can't name one villain of Iron Man.
Well, see, that's another thing. So I'm a big DC head, right? And it's just more so with that because DC has better villains. However, Marvel has bodied them in the movie category. Like,
sure.
like not even close. But it's crazy because we just watched the Snyder Cut. And if this would have been the one that they gave us, this would have been a good start because it was different enough from what Marvel was doing that it would have started their own thing. But it was dark. It was like in-game dark right off the rip with this one, and not as goofy and corny as the one that came out in theaters. And I was like, man, they see DC fucked up trying to catch up with Marvel and hit that both family, like because Marvel got that where family and then older crowd can get it as well. But here's what I think you should do. But before you go, because I was before you make that, here's what I think you should do, and I don't think that your network yet so far has dove into it. A lot of content creators do these things called watch parties, where like they mobilize their crowd and they're like, we're gonna watch this. And I believe like if you was to do something like that, like, look, all right, I'm going to dive into this Marvel universe. I'm going to do this watch party every week. Join me to watch a movie or whatever. I think that'd be a dope ass series. And I think you'll be surprised how many people will rock with you on that.
No, I think I thought about doing things like that. I haven't really put it into that terminology, like a watch party, but I definitely haven't. You know what it is for me, bro? My schedule is so crazy. Like, I don't really have any consistency in my life when it comes to just planning things. Like, everything happens on a whim. But when I do get to a point like that, I would definitely love to do that. Because could you imagine watching like Endgame? Or actually, let's go to Snyder's Cut. It hasn't been released in theaters. It's something that just came out. We could all turn it on in our living rooms and enjoy it together. So yeah, I thought about doing things like that. It's just a matter. It's timing, bro. Yeah. My time. Like I'm working on somebody else's time for the most part. Right. And just not somebody, but just an operation. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a cog in a machine. I'm not the machine just yet. So it's all about timing.
Yeah, that's kind of where the route that we're going. Like, so for the longest, I was like, man, I want to be a part of network. And coming up, you start thinking about these grandiose ideas. I'm like, oh shit, Joe Budden, them got a podcast network. I'm like, but they ain't got no geek network, that geek podcast. Oh, it would be dope there. Or Charlamagne started this, and I started like reaching out to people, really trying to get that right. Trying to establish some connection, because right now we have no connection. It's just us. We're not on the network. All the interviews that we've been able to get is literally me just reaching out to motherfuckers like, hey, yo, this is the opportunity. And I got to a point where I'm like, you know what? I got to stop chasing this I want to be a part of and start realizing that I'm laying a foundation with my peoples of something that people are going to want to come through here. Like, people are going to want to come to us and be like you said, you haven't had an opportunity to geek out on some shit because you're part of a bigger platform, and then all the other platforms that you're dealing with, you guys kind of deal with pop culture and stuff like that. So it's like, I'm like, you know what? Let's just continue to establish us. And if something comes, something don't. We are laying this foundation to be independent and everything like that. Yeah. So it's like, I understand like with that whole so busy and things like that. But like I said, I'm on this wave of everybody can build a hive. Like, we're trying to build our, the way how you guys got all the people that roll with y'all on that Joe Budden network, and just in general, like, if y'all anywhere, you're gonna see them all over there. You guys got the Discord and everything, and that's one of the things that I wanted to ask you. How has it been with the whole Patreon switch from Spotify to Patreon, and then now having like the Discord, the Patreon? How has that experience been? It's different. Yeah.
There's a lot more legwork done with the Patreon, because you don't have that quote unquote machine. So it's different from that sense. Obviously, we're still experimenting with like new content ideas. I know the guys got a lot of things planned. So it's fun in that space. And I think Spotify was just a moment. I think for me, Spotify, we was the first to do some shit like that. Yeah. Like, we've seen all in not just music, not just in this culture, but like across the board for podcasting. Like, we kind of started a blueprint. There was no exclusive podcast to a DSP streaming platform. It was, hey, just put your shit out everywhere, you know, try and scatter and find your numbers to see where your audience is. Like, I think Joe and Ian and all of us kind of just kicked down the door when we was like, yo, this is what we're gonna do. You're going to go here and we're gonna make shit happen. And then when it's time to go, we'll see the impact of what we did within those 2 years. So I think for me, it was just really cool to be a part of a moment where I could tell people like, yo, fam, nobody's doing this. Like we watch the audience, because now you isolate everybody, you isolate everything. Everybody who comes over, you can see it. I don't have to go on Apple. I don't have to go on SoundCloud. I see everything. So I think from that perspective, it was dope. It was fun. But I think Patreon is still kind of new. It's still early. So it's still some things to kind of figure out with the kinks and everything. Like, but it's been cool so far. It's just a lot of fucking podcasting. Like,
No,
that's about it.
y'all definitely amped it up. One of the things, so I want to give you guys direct love. So the whole reason when I did these interviews that I started doing, I said I'm only putting them on our YouTube. Was because I was like, you know, we were putting our podcast everywhere, and we started doing other podcasts, different like segments, and then I was like, nah, I want to give something straight just to YouTube. Right. And so I was like, all right, we're going to centralize it. This is only going on YouTube. And I started this series called 1-on-1 with Deuces going on YouTube. So then when we launched our Patreon last year, I said, all right, I'm only going to give the opportunity for people to ask my guests questions on our Patreon, so we can centralize that as well. So it's like, it became a thing where it's like, all right, we are doing that. But just like how you guys are going through the kinks of just kind of learning it, like our Patreon started off super slow. The Discord, that was brand new to me. Like, we had our Discord for at least 6-7 months now, and it's just now popping to the point where I can be like, okay, we got consistent people, and our consistent is only like 20 people, right? But it's still those 20 people. I'm like, I can count on them when we drop something in there, when we're talking in there, when they cutting up in there. I can count on these 20 people to be there, and it's just continuously building and building and building. And I think that what Joe and you guys keep on talking about of just being independent, centralizing your fan base, being able to create what your worth is, and knowing that worth. I think that, like I said, you guys, like, I know the joke is always, oh, Joe's crazy, but I think like with everything that y'all be doing, like, it's so inspirational to the podcast world, because it's like what we see you guys doing it with no backing. Like, even though you guys had Spotify, and even though you guys had Patreon, it wasn't like okay, they are doing it for you. No, they had to get y'all, because y'all was going to do it somewhere else. And then no matter what the case is, it's y'all that they need, and it's not the other way around.
No, for sure. And it's helped me kind of navigate this space while I'm still figuring it out, you know? Just seeing the do's and don'ts. It's like, I tell people all the time, I did go to college. The main reason I went to college was for my mother. I got that degree from my mom's, so she could put it up on a wall and she could say, yo, I put my first son, who I had at 17 years old, through college. Like, you know, she beat the odds. And not only did she do it for me, but she did it for my siblings too. So I went to college for my mom. I didn't do it for me, because I learned in it, but I don't need college to do what I'm doing. You know, like, you kind of just need work ethic and to be flexible and wanting to learn. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't need the structure to kind of get where I'm at. And so seeing Joe and seeing how we're moving on this side, I get a master class, not a mall master class, but like a real life master class in real time every single day. I understand how you leverage partnerships. I understand, hey, there's been so many companies, BET, HBO, like so many other companies that's reached out to me for my show. Like, hey, we want to work with you. And like, fam, y'all giving me pennies on the dollar. Like, yeah, right now we're doing X amount of followers, listens, whatever per episode. But 5 years, not even 5 months from now, we could be doing quadruple that. We could be, you never know with podcasting. So you put the content out, and if we work together today, it may not be as valuable, because today we only have X amount, where now your ad was always going to live here.
Right.
Your ad is always going to live on my page. As long as this episode is up, it's always going to live here. So sure, we're not doing the numbers that you want us to do at this very moment, but who's to say next week we don't pop?
Yeah.
And now you paid me $25 to put an ad placement here, and now my podcast is doing whatever, you know what I'm saying? 100,000, 500,000 in a week.
Right.
That don't make sense. So
Right.
you kind of got to believe in you. And, you know, I see the perfect example each and every week working with these guys.
One of the fan questions that we had, so I don't think you ever gave your industry ranking list. What's your industry ranking?
My industry ranking. All right, so how are we ranking industry? Like, talk to me, because it varies. It definitely, like, are we talking on the act of industry, who acts the most industry, or who's like the most connected and plugged in?
I want to say who acts the most industry, because that seems to be what Joe and them rank it off of.
It would have to be probably the obvious. Joe, number one.
All right.
Rory, number two. And I would have to, Maul and Parks, see, it's different, right? Because Parks has no choice because of his job. He has to work with Drake and he has to work with Nas. And he has to work with these people to eat. Right. And Maul was born into it. Like, you can't help who your friends are, who your brother is. You can't help that. Like, so I would have to give them a tie, but I would go with Maul third because he's too fly not to be industry. Like, your clothes tell me that you're industry or something. Like, I'm gonna just go there. So it's not a knock to nobody, but that would be my list: Joe, Rory, Maul, Parks.
All right. I'm gonna throw in random questions from the fan questions as we go. I try to weave it in so it has a good flow and everything. Okay. One of the things that you talked about last year, I wondered, like, I know, like, you already said because your schedule, but you were saying that you were going to start streaming Warzone and you're going to get so you had ideas on hopping on the Twitch and doing that?
Oh, for sure. I'm actually talking to people at Twitch now, trying to figure out the right way to do it. Because what it is, my friend, he's super nice. Like, he's my best friend. We grew up together. He's just like amazing. His gift is Warzone. We just gotta tap in and figure out how to monetize that shit. But like, he does, his KD is probably like a 2.17 or something stupid like that. He has over 200 wins right now. I got like 160, 170, whatever. So like, I'm good. And obviously my commentary is entertaining. Like, I do this shit for a living, but I want to figure out how to kind of, I got to pimp him out a little bit. Like, fam, you're too good to just be playing this game with me for free. So we got to figure that part out. But yeah, I play video games in my spare time, dog. Like, very, very simple person outside of what I do for work. And video games is like an escape. It's easy to be, just in your own space. I'm comfortable. My dad plays video games, so I'm still connected in the social aspect of, my family's kind of tapped in, because even if I don't speak to everybody in my family, my dad knows, all right, he's doing good because we're on the game or whatever. And then, like I said, my best friend, I don't got time to go sit at a bar and chill. I can't. So if we got some free moments to just kick it on the game, then let's hop on and kill some people.
And if I'm not mistaken, you said 2K, Madden, and Call of Duty. These games.
Yeah, 2K, Madden, Call of Duty. 2K has been ass though the last 2 years, man. It's rough playing. Like, you would think a pandemic would help because you just sitting home and it's like, all right, bet. Fam, I fell out of love with 2K over the pandemic. Like, Warzone was a gift from God when I found it.
Was, bro. Warzone.
The gift from God, because I was straight sports games. Like, again, I'm not the greatest shooter in these video games. I get my kills. I just had a 12-piece. So, I got my games. I can give you 12, but I'm gonna stick around the 5 to 6 area.
Yeah.
4 to 6. I'll do 4 to 6. But sports games, me. I like to compete. Madden, I love football. So Madden's always cool, at the beginning of the season when the rosters are new and, nobody figured out the bugs. But once people figure out the bugs, like, Madden needs competition, like, straight and simple. They need competition. And I think 2K is getting to that point too, where they need competition and they need to eliminate all the microtransactions. Like, it's killing the game. It's hurting the game. Like, I've spent more money on Call of Duty because they actually cater to cool shit. They're not just making everything a microtransaction. You don't have to pay for the game itself. Warzone. It's downloaded.
Right. It's downloaded, and it comes from the experience. Like, you have the more you play, the more perks you get. So it's not, like I said, it's not the microtransaction.
Exactly.
And timing.
The one microtransaction is the battle pass. You get the battle pass, and now you can unlock all this shit. So it gives you, like you said, an incentive to want to play the game. So Warzone took over my life. I will play 2K. I will dabble in Madden, but over the last year, definitely been straight Warzone.
What was the first game that you remember spending mad time playing? Like, you have to go back in your history, thinking about games that you played. Like, what was the first game that you remember investing time in?
I've been gaming since damn near since I was born. Like, instead of a pacifier, I had a Nintendo 64, whatever it was. Like, so I've been gaming for a minute. I played growing up. Me and my cousin used to play a lot of wrestling.
Oh yeah,
SmackDown versus Raw. I was big on wrestling. You know, I grew up through the Attitude Era, so you know it'll never be duplicated. You'll never see it again. You can't live that. You can't. It's nothing they can do. So wrestling was dope. But I think the first game where I was like, oh shit, I'm a gamer because I want that online experience was Halo.
Oh,
I think for me, the first Halo on just the regular Xbox, never seen anything like it. The story mode was crazy. The music was crazy. Like I told you, I got brothers, so we always got to do the split screen, so it makes it more fun. You know, I'm sitting next to my brother and we shoot it, like, you know, just a whole experience. So I think Halo was the first game when I said, oh, I really love this shit. Yeah. But I played video games prior to that.
Yeah, it's funny, so because like I was always like I said, Nintendo person, and then I jumped over to the PlayStation side. But like my cousin, he had the Xbox, and Halo made me want to get the Xbox. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, this game was ridiculous. Like, you don't. And then being that that's an Xbox exclusive, I only got a chance to play it when I went over his crib. But I'm like, yeah, this game beastie. Because you got to think, like, the characters, the big beastie ass guns.
Everything, bro. Like, even the music was just like, it put you in a trance as a kid. Like, yo, this is a world that I want to be a part of. And like you said, being that it was an Xbox exclusive, it made you just want to be committed to Xbox. Like, I still have Xbox now.
That's dope. That's super dope. So what we do on this podcast as well is we do what we call like just like the regular top 5. However, we try to do it based off of some of the conversations that we had and things like that. So I got 2 top 5s I want to ask you. The first top 5 is going to be just real quick. Top 5 episodes of the Joe Budden Podcast for you. If you have, and it doesn't have to be in order. Just 5 that you just like off the rip that you remember. Like, yeah, this episode was hilarious, or this was the one.
I wish I could tell you, bro. Like, we record so much content.
Blend all together.
You gotta remember, I'm coming up with the title names, the artworks. Like, it's so much. I don't know if I could give you a top 5. I could tell you
instead of episodes.
How about this? I could give you my favorite moments that I've been a part of on the podcast. But like, because there's some podcasts where I just get lost as a fan, and I can't even believe I'm in the room and I'm like, yo, this is a great podcast. But the Pusha T one, easily number 1 for me. I'm a huge Pusha T fan. And just the energy around that whole thing, like knowing that I knew that this was about to break the internet the next day. Like, obviously we drop everything the day after. So it's not like you press the button or you press record and everybody hears it. It's like, no, I was there around Pusha. I saw Pusha. I heard these stories. Like, I see the serious in his tone, and nobody in the world knows this. And the only way it's coming out is through this laptop that I'm speaking to you on. So I get the files, I upload it, and then it goes everywhere. The blogs pick it up, the Shade Room, the Complex. So just knowing that I was a part of a moment like that, that was probably one of my favorites. Obviously, meeting Nicki Minaj was a huge part or a moment for me.
How much did you laugh during that episode?
I could say this. I could say seeing somebody, this is the first time I've ever seen somebody travel with like almost presidential type security where getting out the car, but no, there's 5 people that's getting out before her that's inspecting each and every corner of the studio, who's now radio in, hey, she's good to come in. Like, I've never seen no shit like that. I've never been anybody of that magnitude. Like, we roll with Joe. We got two big ass niggas, and that's just security. Like, but we all rolling. Like, no, she had like presidential type security. So, I was just really on point. I was just really on point. I respected the star that she was. I wasn't trying to do too much. Like, we took the pictures, the artwork of that episode. We took that with my phone, and obviously she has to give approval of what she wants to go out. So for her to actually select the photo, she grabbed my phone, and I was like, "Oh, this is Nicki Minaj touching my phone." Like, I was just going through it, like, what the fuck? But it's small moments like that, like that nobody that I be in a room could probably understand. Like Rory, Maul, Joe, they can't understand that because they're not there in their lives. Like I said, bro, I don't really come from much, so being in that kind of environment was dope. I think another cool episode was when Joe and Eminem had their exchanges. For a little bit. I was a huge Eminem fan growing up, so to see that or be a part of that, or by default, my loyalty is to Joe. Like, outside of my fandom, other than that, Eminem, you haven't done shit for me. Like, you cool, but in 2021 to 2020, whenever they had their exchange, like, it was just crazy to say, oh shit, the person, my mentor almost, is beefing with my childhood favorite rapper, and they got history. So now I feel like I'm in the loop. So that was another cool moment. And then there's just been a lot of funny moments. Like, they got magic. Those four guys, they got something different. It's special.
Yeah. Have you had a moment to sit back and just think about all the moments that you were a part of? Like, I know that with the way that your life is and kind of just how, like, when you on that grind and you're working, you're in that moment of just working, and you don't really get a chance to reflect on the fruits of your labor and things. Have you had that moment yet to sit back and just kind of reflect on everything that you've done over, like, at least the past 3-4 years?
No, it's very far and few between that I do that. Like, no, I haven't truly reflected on it yet. Like, once in a while, like yesterday, actually, I was on the show. I was on the podcast. And that was a moment I pinched myself, because I remember when I was working at a warehouse, fiending every single Wednesday for this shit to drop, because I knew it was going to get me through that week. And then I remember I had Tax Stone's podcast the same day. So I was good for a shift, at least.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then on Thursday, Brilliant Idiots dropped, and I'm a huge Brilliant Idiots fan. So there's a few moments where I have that, but I haven't really turned my brain off completely to say, yo, look at what you've done. Look at where you are. Look at what you're a part of. Like, because I never feel, I don't know if secure is the right, but I never feel like it's enough. I'm always striving until I can go to sleep and know, like, damn, this shit is good. I'm not there yet.
Well, I'm glad that the fans are definitely giving you flowers, because even if you look on the comments of that episode, so I was listening to it prior to coming here and everything, setting up, and prior to our interview, but it was just like, yeah, people was like, yo, man, I'm glad SaVon finally getting the respect that he deserved. Not that you wasn't getting the respect, but it was like,
I wasn't, but it's okay. We're working on that. We're working on that narrative. Don't worry.
HR, you gotta talk to HR more. But no, but it was like, it was dope just to see people like, oh shit, I'm gonna check out, because even the people who didn't check out your Need to Know podcast, they was like, damn, I'm gonna check out this podcast. I'm gonna check that out, and I thought that was really dope, just to kind of be able to see you get them flowers. Even when you gotta think, there's compilations of SaVon's best moments. And, so that gotta be, like you said, at times you gotta be like, oh, that's crazy, like,
yeah.
Like that's I think that those moments are important. Quick question before we get into the next top 5. This is something that you had not recently said, but you had said. I want to know, did it change? You had said that your top 5 artists was Neo, Chris Brown, Frank Ocean, Bruno, and Trey Songz. That was I don't remember how long ago it was, but I wonder, has that list changed since then?
I'm not sure if that was my exact list, because I'm not the biggest fan of Frank Ocean.
It was. I pulled it up.
Yeah, I said Frank Ocean.
I do my.
What was it? Was it just R&B?
Nah, actually, when did you put it? Let me see. Let me see if I can find it again.
Yeah, because it may have been a Frank Ocean song, or like, I'm not too sure if and when I said that. But if I did have a top 5, I guess R&B artists, that's pretty damn close. So you must have heard something.
I be doing something. I be looking, man. I'm like, cause the main thing is I'm like, I want to make sure. Yeah, this is this is a while ago. I should have looked at the year. It was in 2011. You put
okay. So 2011, Frank Ocean was probably popping, and okay, that makes a little bit of sense. Where did you find that in 2011?
Hey man, listen here. I'm good at what I do. And you stood on it. You doubled down. You said, if you disagree, F you. This is what you said in this.
This must have been a tweet. Okay, in 2011, all right, and because in 2011, Frank Ocean, he was killing. 2011, I can see myself saying that, and in that time, Bruno Mars for sure. Still to this day, I'm a big fan of Bruno. But yeah, at that time, that seems like the right R&B list. But today probably wouldn't be that. Like I said, Frank Ocean, he's aged to me like a little distastefully. Yeah. Like I feel like people kind of hold him to a pedestal that, not that he doesn't deserve, but I don't place him there. Like he's dope. He made some great music. He's, influential outside of music. But when it comes to like just a music standpoint, I think people like The Dream. Like, come on, you got to give somebody like that. The ranking, it doesn't even compare. Like, I get it. There was a moment and an energy around Frank Ocean, but Frank can't really hold his weight against somebody like The Dream, who's produced records, who has his own records, and creates for, if not one of the biggest artists ever, Beyonce. Yeah. Like, it's like that's her go-to writer. That's her go-to pen, when she wants to make a hit. So it would change today if I had a list. But R&B list or just artists in general?
In that tweet, you said artists in general, but we can go R&B list.
Okay, R&B. Neil's still my guy, although he's not putting out too much music. He holds a spot for me that really can't be shaken. Same reasons for like The Dream. Like what you do with your pen to me matters. Pen work is almost everything for me. So, and then Chris Brown is undeniable. I wouldn't consider Bruno Mars R&B. Yo, I like Mario a lot. I think Mario is a little underrated, but he kind of did it to himself. Yeah, I don't know, bro. The Weeknd's dope. I like The Weeknd a lot. Party Next Door, like it varies. So if that would be my 5 right now, if I had to say something right now. Ty Dolla $ign. Take Mario out, put Ty Dolla $ign in. Oh yeah, for sure. I like Ty Dolla. That was some great work on your part. Damn.
Hey man, it was funny is it became a thing on my podcast where it's like I gotta have that moment where people are like, "Hey, where you find that from? Where you get that from?" So I gotta have that moment. All right, so you said you're invested in the Marvel movies and everything. What is your top 5 Marvel movies?
Okay. Let's start with 1.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Civil War, Captain America Civil War. Solid. I love the whole inception of how they brought in everybody from everywhere, got a small cameo. Like that was really an Avengers movie. They just gave it to fucking Captain America, but well deserved. So I'm gonna go there for my favorite. Number 2, probably Endgame. Endgame was ridiculous, seeing it in the movie theaters a few times. And when you first saw Captain America pick up Thor's hammer, just the gas in the whole movie theater, like you can't recreate that. So that would have to be number 2. And just the storyline in general, seeing all those characters from all, just leading up to Endgame. So that would probably be number 2 for me. Let's see, number 3. I mean, it may sound generic, but I like the Black Panther. I don't know if it's number 3 worthy, but I do like the Black Panther and just the representation and the movement, the moment behind it too. Like, not only was it a good movie, but it brought attention to things that weren't being brought attention to, like just having a Black superhero that was taken serious. So I think that would be number 3. I like the Guardians of the Galaxy series, bro. I'm a fan of the Guardians, and maybe they would be 5. I'm gonna put Ragnarok. I like that Thor and Hulk one as number 4.
Solid list.
Yeah.
You know what? One of the things reason why Black Panther also is up there for me is because in history, like when you think about like all the fandoms, like Star Wars, Star Trek, stuff like that, right? You had all these white people who come to those movie theaters dressed up as the characters and everything, held pride high and everything. And we didn't never, ever really have that in the Black community. Black Panther was the first time that I went to a movie where I saw more Black people dressed up than white people dressed up. And I thought that was amazing. And I said, this is truly like one of Black people's first fandom outside of like how much we love Fresh Prince and Martin. In geeky world, this was really the first one that Black people embraced heavily like that. And I said, I thought that was dope just to be able to see that because, you know, in this world of with our podcast, we go to these comic book conventions and Comic Cons and anime conventions, and you see, I'm starting to see more and more Black people come cosplaying, and it's like it's something that is like that, like you didn't see that in the hood. Niggas would clown you. You came with a Batman outfit on, but in this space, it's all love, and I'm seeing more Black people embracing it, and that shit is beautiful to me because I'm like, yeah, Black people can love this, and then like even when you chop it up with them, you thinking it's gonna be a geeky person that's like, oh yeah, well let me tell you about Batman, and I'm like, yo, your suit dope, man. He's like, oh yeah, good looking out, fam. I'm like, oh, you like me, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's really dope just to be able to see people embrace a fandom like that.
Well, low key, I think that's why Black people love Halloween the way we do, because you get to dress up and you don't have to feel guilty for it. Like everybody's always a superhero or a villain. You never just see any Black people going for like the doctor look or whatever. Like they always dress up as a character, and I think that's us kind of, you know, allowing our inner fandom to not be suppressed. Halloween kind of gives us that outlet.
All right, so our last segment that we do is called recommendations. It could be either something that you're watching, you reading, you listening to, but something that you think our fans, our listeners, and our viewers should check out.
All right. I spoke about this on my show, and see, the thing is, but there's a documentary on HBO Max at the moment called No I and Threesome. It'll challenge your brain to kind of think about relationships in a new way. And I think that in 2021, 2020, just the last year of dating as people our age, or just dating in general, has been tough because of the pandemic, and seeing people kind of navigate how to date, experimenting with open relationships, you know, loving somebody who may love somebody else. Like it's a lot. And I think it's really interesting to kind of break the status quo of what we deem a relationship in society. So I would probably recommend No I and Threesome on HBO.
All right, dope. All right, so how can my people find you, man?
Hey, I can find me. There's not too many SaVons in the world. So if you go on Twitter or Instagram and you type in SaVon, I'm usually at the top of that list. But if not, on Twitter, it is SLVTER. The V is in place of an A. And the same for Instagram. It's my name, SaVon, SaVon, SLVTER as well.
Yep. And tell them about your podcast, just so for those who don't know about the Need to Know podcast.
Yeah, it's me and my guy Alex right now. We figuring this thing out. We just made some transitions. But the podcast is fun. We try to inform. We try to do it from a relatable perspective. Alex is really big on music, and I'm just really big on lifestyle shit. So you bring those two worlds together, strong opinions, and just comedy, just fun. We like to have a really good time over there on the Need to Know podcast. Highlight upcoming creators, creatives, people that you wouldn't normally see. We're not doing the celebrity thing too much, too heavy. Although we have access to those people, we just kind of want to keep it that organic feel. And we got a lot of really cool things coming over there on that podcast.
Dope. All right, well, this has been One-on-One with Deuces on Geekset Podcast, the only podcast that blend hip-hop culture and geek culture together. I've been your boy Deuces. This has been the amazing man, SaVon Slater, a.k.a. SaVon The Don. And thank you, man. We are out. Peace.
You like that video? Man, thank you for watching. We truly appreciate it. We got so many more videos on our page, so make sure you check them out over here. Hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell so that way you can always be notified anytime we release a new video. You already know how Geekset get down. We got so much coming for y'all, man. Check it out. Stay in tune.